Well, there's about 3 inches of snow outside, and I'm content. When I was in Florida, there might be sunshine and 85 degrees and a light breeze and beautiful sunsets, and I was content. What does contentment really mean? Well, contentment means to be satisfied. Does that mean that you don't have a desire for other things? No, it doesn't mean that totally. I went back and I made a list of things that I was discontent in. When I was a young man, a young boy, I wanted a motorcycle, and my father would have no part of me having a motorcycle. And so I settled for a motor scooter. But I was content. There was a time when I wanted a Corvette, and the best that I could muster together was enough money to buy an old beat up 1953 Ford, not even a V8, but I was content. There were times when I thought that contentment would come from really great food. I went to Japan and I had what is known as the most famous beef in the world, Kobe beef. It's something like $50 or $60 per ounce. And the following day, one of the technicians at the plant that I was visiting took me to a legitimate Japanese restaurant above a storefront where they served deep fried pork chunks, boiled potatoes, and carrots and onions. You know what? I was just as content eating that pork as I was the Kobe beef. And then there was a time that we bought our first house. It was an FHA house. You had to almost go outside before you could change your mind. It was so small. It was FHA. It was a 2 bedroom, 1 bath house. And then we finally got our dream house built in North Carolina, almost a 4,000 square foot octagon, 2 stories, all redwood, sitting on a little creek. And you know what? I was just as content in that 2 bedroom, 1 bath house as I was in that dream house. Boats, I kept moving up in size until I had a really nice boat, and I was just as content with the old boat as I was with the new boat. Jobs, I had a really tough job, my first job out of high school. Ran up and down stairs pulling inventory, very low pay, just barely above minimum wage. And then I moved up the ranks to become vice president of a large corporation. And you know what? I was just as content with my old job as I was with the top executive position. When it came to health, there was a time in my life as a young man when I was strong as an ox. Wasn't almost nothing I could not do. And now I've had both hips replaced and neck fusion, all kinds of various things that have gone on. And certainly now I can't do anywhere near the things I used to be doing when I was a young man. But I'm content. You see, I finally realized why I was content in different situations. Now let me read you Philippians 4:12. I know how to get along with humble means. I also know how to live in prosperity. In any and every circumstance, I've learned, isn't that interesting? The secret of being filled and going hungry, both of having an abundance and suffering need. What did Paul learn? Paul learned when Christ is the center of your life, you can find contentment no matter what your situation. I remember after my dad got saved, and a year or two later when he found out he was sick and that he was likely going to die, I remember what he said to me. He said, "Don't cry for me. I've done what most people dream about doing. I've been around the world twice. I've seen and done things that most people just dream about doing. So here was my dad, only 76 years of age, young compared to the age that many live today, and yet he was content. You see, I believe when you have Jesus Christ in the center of your life, whether you have an abundance or whether you have nothing, whether you have the dreams of your life, such as a Corvette, which I had later in life, but found that it wasn't where happiness or contentment really was. Real contentment comes from a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, staying in the center of his will, glorifying him in all that you do. When you fulfill the mission that God has given to you here on this earth, you'll find real contentment. Yes, I've learned, just like Paul learned, that it's not in things, it's not in positions, it's not in food, it's not in houses or cars or jobs. Real contentment comes from a relationship with Christ, being in the center of his will. And I hope you are today. That's your thought for the day. God bless you.